Hey! Hello, you guys!
Hey!
Welcome to BroadwayCon! I am so excited. I feel like I will always, forever and always be the theater kid in my high school who just happened to ended up, I actually ended up in the Broadway community, and it is an honor and a pleasure to be here. Hey girl, nice to see you. It is so cool to be here as a performer, but also as a host of a panel today on behalf of the Broadway Podcast Network, the Salisha Show, and Black Hair in the Big Leagues. And I'm excited to show you my guests today. I've got two. We're starting out with JJ. He is a longtime friend, and then later on I'll bring on Niemann, who we know her, we love her. So she'll be joining us in just a few minutes. But let's start off with the guest we have next to us right now. Let's see here. He's performed in all the major regional theaters across the country and is currently sitting pretty on Broadway. He embodies the Broadway fantasy. Oh, you really do. You embody the Broadway fantasy by giving a glimpse of behind the scenes of being in a Broadway show. And you do such a good job at it. I remember being in a show and being like, oh my gosh, it is like that.
I love it.
You were in, I'm gonna talk about you, not to you, okay. He was in New York for merely days after graduating from Elon University with his BFA in musical theater before booking the Book of Mormon. How dare he? And let's see here, with over 1 million followers on TikTok, and currently performing 8 times a week in Back to the Future. You guys, please help me welcome JJ Niemann!
Hi, everybody. That is the sweetest intro I've ever had. Truly.
JJ, first of all, I love you, and I just realized the photo dump that I posted of us this week.
Yes.
I never actually put the glow up after that.
Right.
So
the glow up is important. The glow up is important.
I just posted something on Instagram of photos that we took for Playbill in 2017 or 2019.
Yeah. Which they still use, by the way. If you look at certain programs, it's us in our Playbill pajamas.
Me in my straight hair wig, which was
Yes.
the last time I've had straight hair?
Right.
6.5 years.
Oh my gosh.
And you are
I look like my Book of Mormon self. A little short hair, a little sweet little cheeks, yeah.
You really do, but it's kind of cool to see the journey where you started, where you're at, and the glow up just keeps glowing. So I first want to ask you, how long was your audition process for Book of Mormon versus how long was your audition process for Back to the Future?
That is a great question. So Book of Mormon was fast and furious. I will say I did a self-tape for it. I got an email from a casting director having gone in for them before. And so that was I want to say maybe April or May of my senior year. I graduated on, I remember the dates, May 20th. 2017 from college, and
2017.
Yeah, from Elon. So I graduated that day. I packed up my apartment, flew up to New York the next day, which was a Sunday. Monday was my callback. I got an in-person callback for Book of Mormon. Went through all of that day, got a final callback for the next day, which was a Tuesday, and then got a call that night hey, can you start rehearsals tomorrow? Come and sign a contract. We need a vacation, or not a vacation swing, a full-time swing immediately in our show. And so I was just thrown to the wolves. So that was if we're talking in person, that was a 2-day audition process. Now for Back to the Future, it was 4 months, I want to say. It was giving carrot, it was giving dangled, which is fine. It was a long process, and also because I went in for some different things. I went in for the role itself, Marty, several times, made it through all the callbacks for that. Then they kind of were okay, they went back to square one with a lot of that, but we're we want you in the show, possibly as a cover. I was great. And so then I, 2 months later, then did a tape. Then I went in, I was flying up for callbacks. And the only reason I was able to make my final callback, by the way, for Back to the Future was because I almost missed it. And I was I'm running the risk that they can rely on my past auditions that they filmed. But I was doing a production of Mamma Mia at Flat Rock Playhouse in close to Asheville, North Carolina. And they canceled a week of shows because our 2 leads got COVID. And the second, very sad, that week canceled shows. But I was I called my agent and I was I gotta get up. Immediately flew up to New York and I was I'm gonna be at that final callback. And I think it was just meant to be, obviously. But
I'm sorry, it is such a an emotional backflips when your coworkers get COVID. COVID and you're like, I'm
they're
not
miserable.
happy about this.
No, yes.
But if you're the cover also, you're like, I guess I'm on.
Right.
It's like such an emotional. So, okay, that is awesome. Just so you know, like hearing him, you can be in a Broadway show within 2 days. Sometimes it also takes years.
Yep.
People going through auditions for years before they land the role. And I also know, and before I got married, dated somebody in his 50s who like made his Broadway debut in his 50s. So if it's something that is like,
Yes.
you never know when your dream can come true.
Yeah.
So, okay, how many roles do you cover
In Back to the Future?
Yeah.
So in Book of Mormon, I did 7. That was like a lot. But that was like swing. That was like math. I mean, you've swung before, right? When you were, yes. It's giving and like cover leads and ensemble at the same time. Crazy.
I'm gonna need some whiskey.
Right, like visceral reaction. So in Back to the Future, though, I have my own track that I do 8 times a week, and then I cover George McFly and Marty McFly, 2 of the leads.
When it comes to covering for you,
Yeah.
Can we be real?
Let's be real.
Okay, is it stressful or is it, oh my God, I'm so excited?
Oh, like it's a bittersweet answer, you know, or like a twofold answer, because like, I don't know, there was something about swinging. Like I always say to people, I was like, I would never have made it that long in Book of Mormon, respectively, like in one show, sitting in one show for so long, if it wasn't for the freshness of going on for all these different parts.
Really?
Yes, it kept it fun for me.
I was in Beautiful for like 5 years and I would still be there today if we weren't closed.
Period.
Like old woman in the corner still doing it.
You're like, yes, I got it.
Love me.
Yes.
Yes. But you're the opposite. You like the freshness.
Yes, and so that kind of like, thankfully, I'm in a show where like the role, like specifically, I was hired to cover Marty from the get-go, and that role is so demanding to do 8 times a week. In West End, they actually have an alternate that does one show every week.
Oh.
That's just our union rules. It didn't work out that way with these contracts, but like
We love an alternate.
we love an alternate, and so I kind of like low-key am one of those, like, but not without like the designated performances. So I get to do that so often that it really keeps it fresh, and also makes me enjoy my ensemble. We call it my quat track, which if you know Hannah Kevitt from my show, quat is the quitting to the fullest extent of your being. And so sometimes in the ensemble, you're just like, and today I get to be in the back for all these scenes and just like live my life and be with my friends. And then some days you're like, I have all the pressure on me. So it kind of makes you appreciate it.
But if you know JJ, when he's in the back, he's
Oh,
never in the
no. We're not
back.
quatting. We're not really quatting.
No, and I had the pleasure of getting to see Back to the Future. Forgive me for waiting so long, because it really was a great show.
It's
a
so
slow
fun.
burn, but at the
Yes.
end, I'm like, yeah!
Yeah.
Like it really, like that's how I felt.
Yes.
It really was so fun. It was fun to watch you because first of all, we did a show together where we were in the 1950s
Yes.
and we're dancing in Greece, and then I see him dancing in like
Yes.
this.
We partnered. We were in Greece together and partner danced, and we had so much fun.
We did have fun, and he was very patient with me because JJ is a dancer. Like you really are an extraordinary dancer, and like you don't hold back. You've got 2 switches, on and off.
Period. Yeah.
So when you went on for your first time in Marty, what was that experience?
Well, yes. So I made my debut. I was the first person to go on for like a lead in our show for one of the principals, and that was during preview still. Like we had just done our gala opening, which was like a faux opening. It was like super confusing.
Interesting.
Yeah, our actual opening was August 2nd, I want to say, last year, somewhere around there. 3rd, maybe? There we go, thank you. And so that week, and it was right after gala and Broadway and Bryant Park and all this craziness, I made my debut with 3 hours notice, and I hadn't rehearsed half, Salisha, I hadn't rehearsed half the show. And do you see how dangerous, respectfully, like the show is so dangerous. Like I was actually worried sick and so scared. And you know what, there was something about my nerves, like you would think in a moment like that, every anxiousness and nerve in your body, but like I was like, it can't possibly, there are no expectations for me right now because I'm being asked to do the impossible. So anything I do is very fierce. And you know what? I'm really proud of myself. During previews, I knew this was gonna happen. They kept saying, no, we'll rehearse you. You're gonna have time. I was like, I know how this goes. Like you've seen the stories.
How this goes.
You've seen the stories. During COVID especially, it's like, you see cover, they're calling in the 18th alphabet from the 2nd national tour from 10 years ago. It's like, right, okay, I need to be ready. So,
18th
no, literally. So like, So I was like, I need to be ready, okay?
Sometimes for a role that you don't even cover, it's like, do you fit these costumes?
Well, yes. Well, yes.
Yes.
So, yeah. So anyway, I was like, and I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not just trying to toot my own horn, but during previews, I was every day running my lines with scene partners, running and
Doing your homework.
And I was like, one thing I can control is being word perfect, knowing every single line, every single lyric. And that was the one thing that I was like, I can't believe that's the last thing I'm thinking about right now. Because when you're jumping on and off fences, you're driving in a car, you're putting stuff in the car, you're flying in a car, you're riding a skateboard for the first time on a Broadway stage. I don't skateboard.
I thought you were being symbolic right now, but you're literally, there's the DeLorean.
No, literally flying in a car, like, it's like to flip the switch, you know, like, you know, and it's like, oh my God, like so much relies, almost every single lighting and sound cue and band cue relies on you to say the right lines. It's like, you have to hold this stuff together.
Right.
So,
right.
yes, that's how it went.
Okay, so then my question is for you, for your Broadway debut, the first time you went on a Book of Mormon, were you this relaxed? Were you this in the pocket and grounded?
You know, I don't think so. I think I blacked out a little bit, which you hear about that a lot, but like I definitely blacked out a little bit, but also I was so emotional. It was very cathartic at the end. I remember being very emotional about how like special, I mean, you only make your debut one time. So it's like making your principal debut in something and doing a role like that, it is a similar feeling. It's a cathartic, like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm freaking doing this right now. Like,
that's how I feel. I feel like once that moment happens, it doesn't matter what happens from here on out, what happens in the future. If you never did anything else, you did that.
Yes,
it happened. No one can ever take it away from you.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I also want to ask you about, the question that I have here is, when did the TikTok start TikToking?
Right. Right.
Because when I first met you, you didn't have a TikTok following, did you?
Ma'am.
Or did you?
I don't even think that the app existed, question mark, or it was like what's it called? Musical.ly, there we go. It was like the kids doing like the, you know, little dances. And so I didn't have that. And also that's why I was so resistant. I think a lot of people at first were resistant to TikTok because it's like, oh, these are a bunch of kids doing dances. And then once I downloaded it, I want to say around February, like right before COVID hit. And I was just watching stuff and I was like, wait, there's so much funny content. Wait, there's theater content and relatable stuff. And like, okay, wait. And then I started making skits and I was like, I used to make YouTube videos when I was like 11.
Okay.
Yes, and they're all scrubbed from the internet, honey. So I hope, please, Jesus. But I've always had a passion for video making.
Time out. You also said, this is the thing that the kids do. I'm like, you just graduated in 2017.
Right. I was still,
you know. The kids.
Right. But I meant the kids like the 13-year-old, you know, like being these babies.
Yes.
So anyway, then I started making videos and I was so scared to first put myself out there. And you know, I just embraced that, like, okay, let me be a little cringe. Like, this is cringy and like, let me do it, like whatever. And I found a whole community. It's like crazy.
So wait, was there an energetic shift of when you were just kind of doing it for fun versus you're like, hold up, people are kind of responding to this?
Yeah, definitely. I would say the shift was doing the POV videos, the actors with the mics on and off, because I was using my own voice and I was singing and I was taking requests. I was doing different shows, showing what it's like to do a quick change and pretending to talk to my dresser and oh my God, I'm singing my lines and on stage, off stage. So there was an energetic shift there because then everything was like, oh, these are getting millions of views. Oh, I'm building momentum. Oh, and then it really just kind of went from there.
And so my question for you in that is, when you did something and it popped off, was there ever a moment of, well, I did that, so I can't do it again, versus I did that, let me do it again? Like, does that make any sense?
Yes, for sure. Yeah. I mean, there have definitely been certain videos I've made that I'm like, that's a one-off. Like, that's not something I want to make like a trend or like continue. But that was something that I was like, oh, I can take requests, and everyone's like, wait, do Heathers, do Mean Girls, do this show, and it's like, oh my God, wait, this is so fun, and it's relatable for anybody who has done. That's what I realized is I'm like, almost everybody out there has done at least one school play, school production. Even if you're like, I don't even do theater, like most people have done something, and there's a relatability and showing that Broadway actors are like genuinely just like the same. Like we're literally the same.
So how do you? Okay, and I kind of have an idea of what this answer might be, but I want to hear from you. How do you balance? You film these when you're in the show?
Well, I did a lot of these, that was mostly during the pandemic. It was like in my closet at home with a green screen. But yeah.
Right, oh.
Literally in a closet.
Did you ever, Have you ever filmed any of your TikTok videos during a show?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And how do you balance doing the show and doing your TikTok, and have you missed any entrances?
Never, okay? I do scare the stage managers sometimes. I will say I cut it a little close and I have a reputation for that. But I definitely, no, I love doing it backstage. And also my favorite part is like getting people like Roger Bart and I, now every time I'm on for Marty, he plays Doc Brown. And every time I'm on, he's like, okay, what are we doing today? Like, you didn't send me a TikTok. What are we doing? Like, you didn't send me a sound. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I love that, like getting other people involved, and now it's like the whole cast versus, I feel like a few years ago, like when I was doing Book of Mormon, I would want to make content, but I was too scared to ask my cast members. And now I feel like there's a different shape of mind, and also like people just are willing to make it now. It's not like so like, oh, taboo, I don't know.
Question for you. This might be controversial.
Yet brave.
Yet brave. How do you feel about phones in the theater?
Ooh, like filming the show? I always say, if you have something, send it to me. Okay, if you're gonna take it. No, I'm kidding.
Are we kidding?
For legal reasons. No,
Yes, we're kidding.
I do like that shows now have like, okay, we have like a mega mix, very you know, very back in time in our show. Like, it's like there's a moment. You're like triggered. There's a time now in shows that we get to film, and like I like that we have that. Granted, last night there were like 2 people filming like randomly at different times with the Flash. Wait, the other day.
The Flash?
Yes. Why? Yes. And the one thing is, like, there's someone the other week, like 2 weeks ago, we were doing the opening of Act 2, and we're all like walking around, and someone in the second row has their phone, and it's a front-facing camera. They're on FaceTime with someone.
No!
And had their phone on their chest, and I literally am like looking at myself. I'm like, that's crazy. That was crazy.
What?
So to answer your question, it can be very distracting. I kind of live, but like I don't.
That's the thing. I kind of feel like back in the day, if there was like a phone that popped up in the theater, it's like, you absolutely not.
Yeah.
And like, even as a performer, we were kind of taught like, no, don't film. I'm like, how many cameras have I mean mugged?
Right, truly. You see it, you're like,
wait a minute, I'm like looking at the camera like.
Absolutely.
But now today, I'm kind of like, isn't that a way to maybe keep, this is controversial, but to maybe keep theater like alive and relevant, and people who can't be there, because it is a privilege to be here in New York City to get to see a show live. Like, people who like were in the audience for the original Broadway cast of Hamilton or Olympia or Wicked or like, that is like, you were there. It's such a privilege. And so to create some kind of access.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to the New York Public Library, but you have to like watch it. Your bag is in another room. You only get to watch it once, and you have to have a reason to watch it. That is also still a privilege. Like, okay.
But I will say, that being said, it is a live art form, and it's also like scary as performers to be like, oh my gosh, I have one off show and then that lives forever on the internet. And like, that is the one thing, is that like, as long as people are respectful about it, or like if they have it for, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
There's a few people who would film Once Upon a One More Time. And every now and then I'd see a clip that I was like, oh Lord.
You're like, delete your account, yes.
It's like, you maybe take that one down, but you can keep the other one.
Yeah.
And also the filming in HD, I'm like, this is what we came here for.
Right.
We do have a few more minutes before I let you go for a while, then I'll bring you back up. What has been your biggest pinch me moment?
Ooh, biggest pinch me moment? I mean, that's hard. There's been so many. I will say there was something really special about doing the Macy's Day Parade for the first time. I know everybody is like very like, you know, performing on the Tonys, and obviously that's a dream, still have yet to do that. But the Macy's, like, there was something so magical in like all the different shows and the trailers, and then you're out there and the audience is there. I just like, that is something I watch every single year, and I would wake up and watch it with my family. And so like, that was just something that like was a tradition with my family, and it was very special to be in that. Aww. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, let's see. What would be your advice for aspiring performers versus also your advice for aspiring influencers?
Ooh, yes. Okay. Well, then those are kind of two, I'll say two things. My advice for aspiring performers is kind of, I mean, everyone says it, but really truly trust your path and your journey. I actually this week had like a perfect moment that I was like, wow, this is exactly what the things I need to remind myself, because I tell other people this advice, but like I got a huge no this past week that I was actually shook to my core about. I was like, oh, this is my job. And then no, it's not. Okay, it's not my job. And then the next day I got like 4 auditions for other things that I'm like, wait, I would rather do most of those things than this anyway. And it was truly a reroute of like, people always say every, no is a not yet, or every no is just a redirection, and closed door is another door open. And I think if you believe in higher powers, I choose to believe in God, the universe, whatever is guiding me, and it's like what is meant for me is going to happen. So trust that, because that's at the end of the day that's all you can do. Like, you can't focus on the what ifs. And then my advice for aspiring content creators, I'll say, because I hate the word influencers. I'm like,
I know. I do too, actually.
But content creators, my advice for aspiring content creators is like, truly find what makes you unique. Like, find your angle, because one person's cringe is another person's pleasure, okay? Yeah. So like, I think so many people live life like, oh my God, how can I be cool? How can I not be cringe? I'm like, I'm not cool. Okay, great. And actually that makes me cool to some people. Some other people are gonna see me walking on the street and they're like, oh, that's that Broadway boy, I've gotten it. And half the time I work with people respectfully, they're like, wow, I didn't know if I was gonna like you. And I'm like, oh, that's so wild you say that, but I'm glad I won you over. But I get
people
it.
People are so bold.
Out of pocket. Yeah. So a lot of times people like just will see content creators and they'll be like, oh, like that's so much or so extra or da-da-da-da. But it's like, okay, but like you're doing something, you're putting yourself out there, you're making a name, and a lot of times people are just like honestly scared to do that.
Yeah.
So don't let fear prevent you, or fear of being cringe or something like that, prevent you from putting yourself out there and making something. Yeah.
Before I let you go, I want to say that a lot of times you see people online and it really, it's more rare than I would hope for it to be, but it's really refreshing to meet somebody whose personality in real life reflects who they are online. Mm-hmm. And JJ Niemann, you are one of those people.
I appreciate
that. So thank you so much for joining us today. How can people follow you?
Oh yeah, at JJ Niemann, it's my name. Niemann, 2 N's, yeah, on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube now. Everyone loves YouTube right now. I love it.
Yeah.
YouTube Shorts, yeah.
I'm gonna bring you back up here in about 20-ish minutes, so don't go far.
All right, perfect.
Get your questions ready for him.
Hey.
And